Cost segregation is the reason I have not had to pay income tax personally for the last 4 years. And the next several $1,000,000 in personal income I make is going to be tax-free. So that's why Jeff's here. It's actually something my wife tells me I should talk about a lot more on this, because there's nothing more powerful, or not more powerful, more liberating, I'd say, than knowing you made a lot of money and then seeing a minus on your tax return and knowing it's legal.
Right.
Not illegal, legal.
Well, before we dive in too much, I think it's important to acknowledge that, like, this is something that's been going on forever, and it's only been recently made popular when I think it was the 2015-16 debates with Trump and Clinton, where he's like, yeah, I do it because it's legal. If you wanted me not to do it, change your laws.
Yeah.
You know, so I think
So few people have noticed what he said during that debate.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said to Hillary at that time, was basically, I'm using the tax laws that are in place.
Right. And I think people don't realize that how many hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars does Trump spend just on his accounting team, you know?
Well, and so being mad that someone takes advantage of cost segregation or the tax loophole, any tax code, would be like being mad at someone for driving 75 miles an hour because the speed limit's 75. And just because you're more comfortable at 45 doesn't mean everyone else should get, because if the law says you can go 75, go 75.
Well, I think we don't even address if it's good or bad. Let's just talk about that it is what it is, you know,
Jeff,
in the popularity of it.
How do we drive 75 miles an hour?
So, great question.
Can we go 8? No, just, sorry.
That's a whole nother conversation, and won't have that filmed. But the bottom line is, basically for anybody that buys a property that is like most folks out there that are in the real estate game, they don't want to pay income tax or pay as little as they can legally. And so what cost segregation studies do, for those who may not have heard about it, is accelerate the depreciation, allowing that property owner to reduce their income taxes today. Where ultimately a cost segregation study doesn't give more depreciation, it just gives some of it sooner.
So let's talk about this.
Sure.
It was probably 10 years of me buying houses. I had already bought over 1,000 houses before I really understood what depreciation was. Because as a kind of young Marine, pull string, go boom, right? My accountant said, you bought rent houses, you can write off this much of it. And it's like, so to me, depreciation was just a write-off for buying houses. I just, to be transparent, I didn't really understand what depreciation was. So maybe I buy a house. The house it comes with land, a foundation, some walls, and a roof, and some stuff on the inside. What is depreciation?
Before we get into the cost seg part,
Yeah.
what's going to happen is you buy that house just like you described, and your accountant will sub out a land value.
Well, sub out means back it out. So I like easy math because I'm an idiot Marine, pull string, go boom. So the crayon math is, it's worth 120 and the land's worth 20. So now they back the 20 out.
Yep.
And the structure is worth 100.
100 grand.
Okay.
Correct.
So even though that doesn't exist anymore in America, but we'll pretend.
Yeah, we'll go with simple math.
Yeah.
Caveman math.
Yeah. Crayon math.
Crayon math, because you're a Marine.
Yeah.
So
The red ones taste better.
I've heard that. I've heard that. Anyway, what will happen is you've got 100 grand in consideration, and that's going to get divided by 27 and a half for your
And that's called
straight line depreciation.
straight line. So what I learned was I used to think that was a write-off for buying the house. But what I learned, and now I call it, is lazy math.
Yeah.
So basically the IRS says I can say that structure's worth nothing of what I paid for it in 27 and a half years.
Correct. You will have written it down, and the depreciation is taken. And I would say potentially that for the accountants out there that haven't explained cost seg to the buyers, to their clients, to their taxpayers that they work for, they're being lazy because they haven't brought it up, because you don't have to write everything off over 27 and a half years.
Because the IRS, I'm trying to, you and I are far too advanced. My wife says I talk way past the average viewer, so I'm trying to So the IRS believes that a home is worth nothing after 27 and a half years.
Correct.
So if you're listening to this, you just got to understand how stupid that is. Because we all buy houses knowing they go up in value. But the tax code, written by the politicians, because they all own multiple houses, says a home is worth nothing but the land in 27 and a half years.